Welcome to the housecoat chat, folks. I am the dude in the housecoat. You have been actually seeing any of my practice videos that I have done. Well, this is my first attempt at live, warts and all, folks. My speaking, I have Bell's palsy, arthritis in the jaw, I wear hearing aids. Yes, I got a couple of health issues, and I am a long-haired person. Anyways, I am the dude in the house coat. Justice Truth is the channel. Things may change slightly down the road. I might do the house coat channel by itself. I am Justice Truth on X, Twitter. You won't find me on any other social media at this point, but that may change down the road. Yes, this is my first attempt at live. I'm calling it practice 3. I don't think anybody's going to show up on my chat to see anything that I might have to say. But listen up, people. This country is going to heck in a handbasket. And I say heck because today in the news, it's Saturday, and we're finding out that the Liberal Party and the NDP are quietly trying to change the election rules to expand the amount of days it takes to vote. I don't like that. Remember, just last election that we had a couple years back, over 200,000 votes from the Western provinces were not counted in the end tally. Yes, the end tally. What can I say? If the parties in power at the current moment are at their lowest popularity, same with the opposition that they tied themselves to, they should not be allowed to make any kind of changes to our election. And I hope there's going to be a private member's bill from someone, if anybody is listening at the member of parliament at this moment. Please, let's make a law that a minority government cannot change rules on elections. That has got to be a given. Our government is not working for us. The evidence is out there, people. Open your eyes. I mean, seriously, open your eyes. If you got to take these glasses to clean them, folks. Take off the blinders. We are in a country in decline. I don't like to say this, but immigration at the current moment is really high, and the amount of people coming in is not, excuse me, not efficient for our country. It is demoralizing everyone that's coming here. I mean, when I listen to people that work for the government crying in their cars saying they can't help people anymore that are coming to this country, when I hear church groups who help these immigrants that come to this country saying that they have to give out blankets because they have nowhere else to put these people and they have to go on the streets, our country is not being run by people who are supposed to be in our best interest. Everything that our country's doing, if you have not taken the time to think about it, is for outside agencies, NGOs, non government organizations. We need to change this. We need to stop these open borders by the Soros Society. We need to stop the WHO stuff. We need to stop the United Nations 2030 goals, the WEF goals. Yes, we need to start looking into ARC. Yes, folks, remember ARC is a alliance thing that is created by Jordan Peterson and others to counteract the WEF and its communist ways. It is unreal that our elected officials go to a conference of people that are non elected and are being told to do what they need to do in our country for the other people's satisfactions. That is absolutely wrong. And I'll tell you, as a little analogy for that, is that I live in British Columbia. I live in Vanderhoof, British Columbia, and that is the geographical center of this great province of British Columbia. I don't like David Eby at the moment. He may be a fine person, but as the interim leader of the party in power, you are scum, allowing the things that you are allowing. But let's get back to my analogy, right? The analogy is this: we have bear hunting in this province, grizzlies, black bears, brown bears, you name it, bears, right? And there was an election, and people were upset that bears like grizzlies get hunted in Vancouver and Victoria, all those southern parts of British Columbia. They ended up forcing the government to change the rules on hunting grizzlies and other bears. Well, that's fine if you're in Vancouver, but ask a farmer in Fraser Lake, ask a farmer in Vanderhoof, ask the Fish and Wildlife officers in the area and around Prince George how many bears were shot by conservation officers. Quite a bit. You're paying tax-paying dollars to have somebody shoot that animal versus allowing somebody to hunt, pay a tag, a fee, the privilege to actually bag an animal, and it brings revenue. Revenue. Things that go in your wallet, right? Not spending it like things going out of your wallet, right? That is idiotic. You know what? That conservation officer, instead of shooting animals, could have went around driving and checking all the hunters out. They have the rights, the privilege to hunt those animals, and that's all he would have to do. Instead, over, I think, and I'm going to be low on this estimate, is 60 bears were killed around Prince George this year. 60 of them shot by conservation officers because somebody in Vancouver didn't like grizzly bears being hunted. That is wrong. I know province is big, but you know what? People down south, just like in the Toronto area and everything else, they seem to make all the rules because that's where the population is. As representation and everything else in this government, it needs to change. Our court systems, our governance, a lot has to change, folks. If your eyes are not open, listen to what Anthony Housefather had to say about the vaccine and their procurement and the procedures that the parliamentary thing went through. If you don't know that video, and I'm not going to go put stuff up for you or anything like that, I am just going to tell you, you should research. Listen, I mean, I know the news, mainstream media is still clamoring that they say we are important. Well, you're only important as your honesty in your reporting. If you can't tell the truth as a news organization, you need to get out of the way. If you're being paid by the government to spew and talk about things that only approved by the government because you're scared to get your hand that was feeding you taken away, right? You don't want to bite that hand. That's why I have a huge problem with mainstream media. I mean, I don't subscribe to cable anymore. I don't subscribe to satellite. I don't follow those mainstream media. I get my information from my iPad and the screen that I'm looking at, which is my computer. And I look. And then when I see a subject that I'm not quite familiar with, I actually research. For example, who knows who Buck Angel is? If you don't know who Buck Angel is, he is a transgender person fighting for the rights of trans people that actually uses his mind, not the hysterical ones that are going off on a rant. This guy is worth a listen. Buck Angel. He won an award for some kind of prize, right? And or organization. Apparently, he made a product to help people, whatever, in the trans world. It's good, actually. Buck Angel is a decent fellow. I like following him. Why? Because he answers my questions, no matter how offensive other people say my questions are. They weren't. It's funny. I directed the question at him, and people came and attacked me for saying, "How dare you ask that question?" Here was my question, folks, and I know I'm on YouTube Live right now. Is that do you regret not having children because of your transition? I mean, that's all I wanted to ask Buck. Actually responded to me after I got a bunch of negative things saying, "How dare you ask such a question?" Buck adopted. Well, good for Buck. He's a decent fellow. And I'm honestly going to tell you guys, I know it's a touchy subject, but if you really want to get down to it and you really kind of want to learn a little bit more, maybe understand a bit more, he is a good person to follow, just like Julia Mulatto in Canada. Good person to follow. Julia is a lot like me. She talks and talks and talks, but she is a way better speaker than me. And I do follow her because I am just trying to get information for myself so that I can understand the issues better than having somebody scream in my face and tell me all those nasty things that they'll tell me only because I asked a question because I want to understand. Right? That's what you have to do. You have to understand and comprehend situations before you react. That is how emotions get you in trouble, right? That's how your emotions get you in trouble. I am a human being. I overreact sometimes on certain issues, you know. You tell me something that happens to a child, and I will probably get very, 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 very mad, you know, because I think children are precious. I do not actually physically have a biological child. I have a son through a relationship that is somebody else created. I met him at his age of 13. I had an easy parenting experience. The kid is now in his 30s. He has three children of his own, and he is doing well for himself. And I am proud that he is raising his children under the circumstances that he has created for himself. He is still a loving father, yes, and he does a lot of good for those children, and he is trying his best to be a good parent. That's all you can ask of people, right? Is to be a good parent, decent, whatever. And it goes back to here's something else that I'm going to keep repeating in my shows when I continue. If there's two kinds of people, folks, decent or you're not. It's that simple. I don't care for your religion. I don't care for your race. I don't care for your sexuality. What I care about is are you decent or you're not? It's that simple. There is nothing else to go in on it, right? You know, I may get in a heated argument and I may say words that might be regretful later, but at the same token, there's two people, decent or not. And we need to make sure as individuals, as people, that we do better for ourselves and we ask better for ourselves and we ask better from the politicians. Oh, and let's get back to the government. Now, I was talking about how the government's going to try and change the election rules by expanding it to 3 days and a whole host of stuff. Well, we should actually make it 1 day, paper ballots, just like they did in Taiwan. Everything is visible, everything is out in the open, and we count every vote. And it's really simple. All you need is a team of four, okay? Let's just make this simple team of four, two libs, two cons. They count the votes, yay, nay, and they agree on who voted for who, and then it goes in its box, right? No machine, no tabulations, none of that stuff. Make it simple because I've been down that rabbit hole about all the stuff that happened in 2020 or 2016, you know, all the election shenanigans, right? I am not going to say that Joe Biden stole the election, but there are certainly nefarious people out there that were definitely trying to influence the election in the United States. Yes, that is including the Republican side. I am not completely going to bash the left. I've seen enough stuff, heard enough stuff that those things are just, you know, money and power. It's just amazing, right? You listen to Carrie Lake talk about how she was bribed. Please take a step back. Don't run for the Senate. How much is it going to cost you to step out of the race? She got it on tape. Carrie Lake, you're a beautiful woman for that. That's all I could say, right? I know I just dived down the American side because I like peeking over the fence because that country has just a lot of stuff that is nuts, right? You know, look what's going on in Texas, all that stuff, the National Guard, the Supreme Court ruling, and people, you have to read that Supreme Court ruling a little better. I did. You should too. They're allowed to continue what they're doing. The only thing that the Supreme Court is saying is that Joe Biden and his whatever in the immigration department, Mariokas, however you say that weasel's name, he is a weasel, slimy, and everything else. It goes with, I could go down that rabbit hole, but truckers, farmers, National Guards from other states are going to help out Texas. Yes, and let's just go back and keep talking about all these protests. All right, today I'm very excited about this. A shout out to the Coots Four. I don't think you guys are going to see me or anything like that, but a shout out to the Four and Coots. Please stay strong, positive vibe. You will hopefully be free in a trial or dismissal or whatever. And if it is dismissed and you guys spent all that time in jail, 25 million apiece. If they can give Omar 10 million, you guys deserve 25 million, right? I don't like my tax dollars being wasted, but you know what? My tax dollars can go to people who suffered injuries from the hands of this government. And I will say that again. Our people that have been hurt by this government, whether it's through the mandates, incarceration indefinitely, it stinks. I mean, no matter how you look at it, the Coots Four, if they were truly as bad as they say they are, the trial would have been over. They would have been hanging, swinging from the gallows. I'm only saying that as an exaggeration, but they would have made them a example of what not to do to the government. If you look at the fear porn that they put out there on all the mainstream media's global CTV, CBC, conspiracy to murder an RCMP officer is actually not a crime. It isn't, folks. Where is the evidence for that? And all the guns that they found, right? And the whole affair of everything that went on is just a rabbit hole for everybody to go down. If you still think the convoy was bad, you keep saying free dumbers, dumb convoy people. They actually did a whole world of good and woke up the world. Look at France. France right now, Paris is almost completely blocked off by the protest of the French farmers, blocking roads, even ripping up the tarmac. I mean, the pavement, right? They are nuts. They're spraying manure on the cops. They are blocking traffic. Germany, Poland, Lithuania, Ireland. Yes, all these folks are doing it. Coots Four is up again. There's people at an anniversary in Ottawa for the convoy. Yes, shout out to Dacey's Media. Shout out to the club for helping me. And shout out to Canada for helping me. Why? Because you guys are doing it. You gave me the balls, the fortitude to try and do this myself. What can I say? People, we need to wake up. Write your MLAs, write your MPs. If you are close to their office, actually step in their office, be polite, be blunt, and tell them you don't like what's going on. You think that they're failing us, or you're going to switch votes and you will vote somebody else, right? That's what we need to do. We need to up the pressure, folks. And by upping the pressure, contact your MP, contact your MLA, contact the Supreme Court, contact anything that you think is worthy. Write a letter, folks. Put a post on Twitter if you can. Do whatever it is. Say a rant on Instagram. I don't care. TikTok, whatever. Do something to raise awareness. I'm in a housecoat, and this dude in a housecoat is going to tell you something. When you're in your housecoat drinking your coffee, looking at your news, and something upsets you, take that minute. Go to your MP's website, email, whatever, and drop a line. Even write a letter, print it out, doesn't matter. Mail it. It's free to mail to the House of Commons. Yes, it is. The Senate. It's free to mail there. So, yes, do it. I would. I have. I've contacted Alberta Health Minister way back in the day before the internet was even a thing. And guess what? That health minister responded to me about the privatization of healthcare back in the day. And I was just concerned about the amount of doctors and nurses that are actually available, right? How can you make a two-tier health system if you're taking stuff away from the public and putting it into the private? Where are the people that we need to help support both systems? Whew. Yes, folks, I am on a roll because I will tell you what, it's just what it is. We need to wake up. I don't care which side of the fence you are. You need to wake up. How is life for you at this moment? How's the bills? How's your paycheck? Right? You must have had two by now in this early month. And how much more money are you losing to CPP, EI, and your taxes, right? And we're paying for what? Money going to Ukraine? I would say this about Ukraine. I want the dying to stop. And folks, we need to go after the ivory tower people. Yes, the ivory tower people. That's the like the Klaus Schwab and a few others that are just a little bit above, right? If you are to follow what's going on in the world and it is out in the open, you can just go look at the WEF website to see what's going on. United Nations 2030 agenda. Yes, who? The pandemic treaty that's coming up. Open your eyes and look, folks. Your sovereignty is about to be in jeopardy. And I mean your personal sovereignty, not just the country's sovereignty, your personal sovereignty. Where the United Nations, with who, can declare a pandemic that's coming into this country. And that is a vaguely worded thing that they're saying about a pandemic. They can make it cyber, they could make it viral, they could make it environmental. Whatever they choose, they can claim to come in and try and rectify the situation by including giving you medicine that you don't need or want. That is correct. You will get injected by force. If you thought the mandates in Canada were bad and all the BS that surrounded it, guess what? If you don't read that WHO treaty and what they're planning, and if you don't contact your members of parliament and say, nay, 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 Ralphie May, I miss you. Nay, nay, folks. Yes, you need to get up there and say something. Your personal sovereignty, yes, it's going to go out the window. They are deliberately trying to bring everybody down in this Western world. If you cannot see it, the wordings are out there. Obama, back in the day, I want to bring down the United States to the rest of the world. Think on that statement, folks. Christia Freeland, you can find it. It's out there. Google a Alamada speech or whatever. Christia Freeland is speaking in the States on bringing down the middle class as a good thing for the world. Yes, poverty is a good thing, folks. If you really listen to the left, what they say and what they do are two of the opposite things. I will give you an example for myself. I'm on disability. I have issues, health issues. Not to mention the fact that, like I'm already hearing impaired. I got Bell's palsy, arthritis in the jaw. I got other health issues. Yet the thresholds for help for me from the government, I'm just above all of that. I'm just above it. So that means people are like, oh, well, you're okay then. No, I'm not. The price of inflation and everything else is skyrocketing. My home insurance is going up. Vehicle insurance is going up. Food's going up. Taxes are going up. And I'm on a limited income. Yes, I do get an increase, but that increase is always behind the inflation. I am grateful for the IWA Steelworkers Disability Program. I don't know exactly the actual acronym off of my top of my head, but a shout out to the people in the offices all over the place that are helping people like me that have sickness or illness or injuries that are off work. I know I'm sitting here, I look like a fine person and healthy, but trust me, I am a Chinese knockoff. I am Fabio, but I like to be called Gabio because I talk. And yes, I kind of have the hair. You know what? I could model for some of these magazines and some of these things, but I don't want to hurt anybody out there that's already doing the job. Anyways, folks, what can I tell you more? Oh, geez. Yes, fight people. As Canadians, we need to wake up. Listen to Tucker Carlson and his event that he had in Calgary and Edmonton. If you not have caught any of those clips, I highly recommend them. We need to stop being timid in our hearts, folks, in our hearts, and we got to start being brave. Now, I'm kind of hoping that this video is good. Yes, I am hoping that my voice is good because this is the first time I'm doing this live. And yes, it's been 23 minutes. I can see the counter. Nobody's in here on the chat. That is fine by me, but I am testing things out. And I got to say, thank you, YouTube, for allowing me this. I'm going to have some chats with YouTube on my video here, and hopefully the creators of YouTube will listen to me on the scamming problem that YouTube has. But that is a rant and everything else for another day. My important message is, because I want to talk about what's going in Canada, is that we need to wake up. Why is it that we have people that are in jail? Why is it that the courts are holding up other trials? Why is it that the government is not abiding by the Supreme Court ruling on the Emergency Use Act as being illegal, basically? Spin it however you want, but let's go backtrack this just a wee bit. Before the Emergency Use Act was actually implemented, the blockades were down on the borders. Remember? Yes, they were. Go back in the timeline. I may not be 100% correct on it, but I am 99.99% sure that the blockades were down just before the Emergency Use Act was put up. There was negotiations going on with the city of Ottawa and the truckers to get the trucks out of the residential areas and other areas that are parked in the city of Ottawa. Remember, there was just a 4 block area in downtown Ottawa that had a blockade. There was still rights of passage for ambulance and everything else, don't really believe the media. They claim that, oh, businesses were forced to shut down because of the convoy. No, they were forced to shut down by the government. And those that refused to be shut down by the government lost their businesses, lost their lease. Yes, that is not out there a whole lot. There are businesses that lost their leases and their rights to run in Ottawa because they refused to bow down to Ottawa's demand to shut down. Uh, a lot of people ended up in Ottawa as a business owner going through COVID. You'd think you'd want that extra business. I don't like that and all that went on. And so let's get back to the, the emergency use act, the convoy thing, everything in the protest at the borders, like the crossings in Ontario, Coots, they were down before the emergency use act. So Parliament said, yes, we are hammer down. We are going to crush the Freedom Convoy, the bouncy castle, the Connect Four, the dance parties. Say what you want about the one Nazi flag, a few other little minor things that have happened, but they make mountains out of molehills. It was a mostly peaceful protest that really shone through. Yes, so the Emergency Act was implemented by the government in the House of Commons. The Senate, because of the media and the internet and the wonderful world, the people get information saying the Senate is not going to approve the use of the Emergency Act. So before the vote in the Senate, Trudeau stops the Emergency Use Act. It was a shit show from the beginning. They had all the tools and everything else they could have used to try and end the protest. What they should have done is actually sat down with the truckers. Yes, sat down with the truckers. you know, all this stuff that's going on. And yet here we are in today's world. We'll just slightly end the discussion of the Emergency Use Act and we'll talk about all the other protests that have been going on where people actually utter death threats. And months later or a month after that fact, that man is arrested. Thank goodness somebody did their job. But what about all the other incidents? What about the harassment of Jewish owned businesses, right? Those protests were, in my opinion, slightly wrong to go to people that live in Canada that are of Jewish descent or follow the Jewish religion. You don't really, what is your point? Go to the Israeli consulate, just like I seen a protest, I think it was this morning or yesterday, of the Palestinian people protesting in front of the India consulate. Sorry about the words, but they have their rights, you know. But I will say this about all these people that are pro supporters of Palestinian. I hope you're doing things legally. I hope you are not actually terrorists and doing stuff and hiding in Canada. There are training camps in Canada for these Palestinian rebellions. The videos are out there on YouTube. Google it, folks. I was shocked to see a man shooting two guns in the air. And those guns are illegal. Just like how the government of Canada, that's why I say our government is stupid, hired an outside firm to fly in helicopters and use AR-15s to shoot deer. That was an old story, and it slowly gained traction. But when I first heard of it, I put it out on Twitter. Other people did it on Twitter as well. I'm not trying to say I am the holy one and me only is doing something. Shout out to all the people that have brought it up. The CCFR, if I said that acronym correctly, about the Canadian Firearms people, Native communities, they did get meat from that, but it ended up being hamburger because when you're shooting from a helicopter with an AR-15, whether it was semi-automatic, I hope they were semi-automatic and not fully. But since the government allowed these people to come in, my guess is they were probably fully auto. So you can't own an AR-15, folks, but the government paid an outside agency from outside the country to come and call the deer. You could have had the natives. And I just listened to a native thing from Pierre Poilievre's own YouTube channel where a lady, speaking up about it, shout out to that lady. But the fact of the matter is, it's over and done with, and money wasted. And let's go about other things that are about money wasted. Do you realize that government has a vaccine injury program? Yes, it does. and people are trying to get the vaccine injury thing from the latest rounds of COVID shots or whatever you want to call it. More money is being given to consultants than the victims, just like how our government spent billions on consultants. Why are we spending billions on consultants when you have your Department of Energy, you have your Department of Health, or whatever you want to call them? I'm starting to run out of breath here, but that is okay. What are we doing spending all this money on consultants? Look at Arrive Scam. Look at all the people. Watch CPAC. Go to this guy's garage and listen and learn and spend a few minutes being bored out of your skull listening to parliamentary discussions. But the fact is, they are trying to cover everything up. Look at all the stuff that Pierre brought up about the we documents that were redacted. Remember that scandal, right? How about McKenna misplacing billions? How about Christia Freeland wanting billions for an undeveloped company? Yeah, look, just going to produce billions. Look at how we're spending money on these illegal immigrants, yet we can't do a whole lot for the people that are homeless right now. They are trying to create more problems by trying to fix things when the best thing the government can do is get out of the way. It's that simple, right? Get out of the way. You decimated our military, you gutted our military, and now you're putting tampons in the men's bathroom, and the top general is demanding everybody in the military be compliant with it. You know what? If there is somebody that is in the military currently that needs a tampon and is not a actual female, do you think that they can just maybe walk into the female bathroom and grab a tampon if they really needed one? And let's get back to the tampon thing. Look on YouTube. I got a short little rant for you ladies on why you should be mad about that issue. Yes, folks, women deserve better. And it always seems that when a man takes the place of a woman, somehow he is a champion. Make that make sense, right? Like those male women things that have won, the most beautiful woman in the world, right? How does it that? Like men, we just do it better. That is just crazy. I'm not against anybody in that community. I think that you do you. Just don't hurt children. The same with the Catholic Church. I know people are going to say, "Yeah, but what about this? What about that?" I think of the victims. I think of the person that was on the receiving end of wrong. Yes, I don't care who the other people were. They can go off planet. That's right. That's the nicest thing I'm going to say. They can go talk to Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg. Oh, he doesn't have a rocket, sorry. Or Elon Musk, Richard Branson, NASA, the India Space Agency, European Space Agency, the Russian Space Agency, and say, hey, I would like to test pilot a rocket. I hurt children. Guess what? One way ticket to wherever. And hope your journey is long and you find what you're looking for out there. Right? All I will tell you right now is that please, for the love of whatever you believe in, don't hurt children. Let them be children. Let them grow up in a safe environment to discover who they are and what they want to be when they become adults. Yes, all this influence that is going on right now is nuts. I blame social media and I blame mainstream media and a host of others. Like I said before, I am not on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I am on Twitter, X, YouTube, of course, and I have hopefully soon maybe do Rumble as well because of you got to expand your audience. All I can tell you is people, let's rise up. We need to rise up. We need more goodness and bravery. We need to challenge our institutions to do better. We need to cut out the fat, the greed, everything that is going on in our government. I am not naive. There will always be corruption in government. But when you're only left with the handle and there's nothing here anymore, no bucket, it's time to leave office because it is no good. The amount of money that the government spends on consulting our debt servicing charge, just remember our deficit from April till November increased by 19 something billion. 19 something billion in a nation of 40 million, importing a million more people in. Again, we are bringing in people that are from Ukraine, which is almost okay. I'm fine with that. If we could get rid of the million and maybe bring in the people that, want to come here for safety reasons, whatever, persecution, the war. Yes, if they don't want to fight the war, I think they should come. If they've helped us because of the Middle East, and we promised all these interpreters that they could come to Canada, the United States, there's a wonderful movie on that, and I highly recommend watching that movie. It's not on the top of my mind. I think Jake Gyllenhaal might have been in it, and another gentleman who kind of looks like a Middle Eastern Vin Diesel, who actually has a better acting range than Vinny. Not trying to knock Vinny, but I mean, this guy in that movie was awesome. We need to help people, sure, but we need to help our Canadians. We need to help our veterans that are struggling. We need to put a clamp down on MAID. I am sorry, but isn't it troubling that youth can go behind a parent's back if they have depression and ask for suicide? MAID. That is troubling. Troubling. I mean, sorry. Instead of MAID, I have a new term. I call it butler. You know? And let me try and make that acronym and how I said it. Butler. Anyways, let's help people. I'm sorry about the acronym. It's on my YouTube, my Twitter page. You may find it in the reply. But Butler, yes, let's help people recover. Let's not end people's lives. I understand terminal stuff that there's no cure for. Person wants to end their suffering, no problem. But if you watch CPAC people like I have, this guy's garage, a few other people, Sunshine Baby, shout out to him as well, is that they said in a parliamentary committee that MAID is running fine. It's mostly affluent white people that are applying for MAID. Now imagine if that same person said it's only the poor native communities that are asking for MAID. There would be an explosion, an outrage. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't matter how do I put it? It doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter anything like that. What matters is that we need to help, not end life. The Hippocratical oath that doctors take is now basically thrown out the window. And our government is proud of it. It saves us money. Jerks, assholes. Yes, that's right. They're jerks and a-holes. I don't like swearing, but guess what? They're jerks and a-holes for allowing this expansion of MAID, but it's kind of similar to how the issue in the States with Roe versus Wade was squashed just a while back. MAID could have been fixed if legislation was properly introduced to correct the errors in the wording of the original MAID. Just like Roe versus Wade, they could have codified abortion years ago, but they used it as a wedge issue for years. Did they ever solve it? No, but they keep making it a divisive issue so that they can try and control you, the sheeple, on how to vote. Honestly, if I was in the States, if I was doing whatever, if I was pro life, if I was pro abortion, I'd be writing to my government to get this solved and fixed so that we can live with it, right? No, they're just going to keep dividing and making the issue divisive. Just like our Justice Trudeau, minister, prime minister, always being divisive. Look at what his statement is at a liberal convention, calling a reporter, Jamil Giovannini. I apologize for the name. I saw your video. I actually followed you after you made your statement about Trudeau calling you a twofer. That is an offensive term. How he used it in his convention is shockingly surprising. I think that more people should be outraged at that statement than the four ministers from the Liberals crying that Tucker came. Wow. Folks, Tucker had a lot of good to say, and he had nothing but love for Canada and his wisdom and his words. I don't always agree with, but I listen. I listen to Jordan Peterson as well. I listen to a host of people like David Pakman, who has Trump derangement syndrome. Yes, I do go to left. I don't follow Rachel Gilmore because she is crazy. I do listen to her because, well, I have to hear what she has to say, and I'm willing to listen. That's just the way it goes. Just like listening to Buck Angels about trans issues, right? I'm just trying to follow the rabbit hole. There is a name, Bull Hansen Bjorn. Don't get confused with Doom YouTube up there, like the cloud, like the picture. My girlfriend made that. Yes, she made this wonderful light. She's made the mushroom light up here. There's a painting. Yeah, I'm showing them off. Why? Because she's got talent, and I'm grateful for her to give me stuff that I could use in my little studio, as you can see. And since we're live and it's my first live show, well, folks, you could see my little Halo figure here. I got the helmet. Obviously, I like video games. You could see some of my books that I've read. I already have them on display because, well, I've seen other people in their podcast. They're showing off some stuff. I am not a expert on anything. I'm a dude in a house coat telling you to research. Look for yourself. Don't actually take my word for it. If you take my word and think that I am a divine saint, like people take LeBron James or other actors and actresses and people that really shouldn't have a voice and you shouldn't really listen to them for their political thing or whatever. You should be researching political people with political stuff, not celebrities or whatever, right? But back to the books, right? I like poker. Don't play a whole lot of poker right now, but that is a wonderful old book on how to play better poker. There is a book here, Measure of a Man. I know you really can't see it because my arm thing's in the way, but Sidney Poitier, if I said his name correctly, the black actor, what a story, folks. He is a decent human being and his story is wonderful to read. Hunter S. Thompson. I wish I found my book of letters because that's what I rather wanted to display than this one. That is still a good book, but it was an awesome read to read letters that Hunter S. Thompson wrote to other people and people who wrote him letters. 2 volumes, folks, 2 volumes. And guess what? It's a wonderful read. Hunter S. Thompson has a way of words, and he was an interesting character in life. Uh, I don't think Johnny Depp's going to hear me from this, but Johnny Depp, shout out to you for actually paying for his funeral and shooting him out of a cannon. I watched that on YouTube. Hunter S. Thompson was a lively character, and you know what? If I could have a tenth of his life, my life would be so much fuller or creative, whatever you want to call it. He is a wonderful, wonderful person. Yes, I got a bit of a nose drip. The weather's changing here. Sorry about that. But we went from cold to rain now, and it's warming up, and all my snow outside is melting. I also have a bit of a Plato book. Yes, Plato is a wonderful read. I like to expand my knowledge and stuff. And there's another little book you can't read that one, but that is from Russ Kick. That gentleman has wonderful books on things you're not supposed to know, stories that were never released out into the press back in the day before the internet became a huge thing. Yes, books had wonderful stuff. I used to get a book that talked about the stuff that happened throughout the year that the media never reported. Yeah, back in the day, I had to go get a paperback and wait months for what happened just, like months ago to find out today. The internet today is a wonderful thing because, like X, everything is at this moment, right? It is slapped up there, just like YouTube. I can make a live video, and if I was crazy enough, like to live stream a shooting, which some people have done, and thankfully, I'm not going to do that, never will, folks. But technology today has made things more rapid. And that is why the EU, the US government, the Canadian government are trying to clamp down on the internet so that they can be the sole arbiter of truth. Nobody in no organization such as a government should be an arbiter of truth. No, anyone, even the Vatican should not be the arbiter of truth. United Nations should not be the arbiter of truth for what you need to hear. Yes, they can go out and display what they know, but history and evidence has pointed time and time again that they leave things out. Yes, they do. They complained early on that when they were trying to get their information out there about COVID, they were low on the list. Well, what can I say? Now you see the warning labels on YouTube. More information on COVID, more information on climate change. Those things are just crazy. I don't know how we as humans actually contribute to this global crisis when they leave out evidence of what we do or what history has told us. That is the shame, right? They're hoodwinking us. They're pulling the wool over our eyes. Now, do I think that there's environmental damage? Do I think that humans are causing some things? Sure, but not at the rate that the government and the United Nations are saying that we are doing. History has proven it time and time again, ever since they came out with like no oil is going to be in the future. We're going to have no ice caps in the future. It's going to be freezing in the future. They were wrong on every account of everything. Yet, even the data on Antarctica shows that it's still cold down there. There has really not been a whole lot of change. Yes, weird weather stuff. I mean, is it geoengineering? Are they cloud seeding? Are they doing things that they shouldn't be? Now, I know that's a rabbit hole to go down, but the fact of the matter is that there are planes that do cloud seeding, and they are Bill Gates wants to dim the sun, and if they're trying it. There's got to be no other way to put it, but they are. You know, is it widespread? Is it evil? Sure, in my mind. Why are you trying to do all these things when you can just let nature do nature, right? We banned what was the CFCs because the hole in the ozone. Canada, right? We can no longer get aerosols and certain things like WD-40 because they have to change the formulas because whatever it is, it was a long time coming, I guess. But you know what? I really don't buy it. I can't see it. And yet they keep bombarding us with the information. Oh, it's happening. Well, where is exactly is it happening? The only carbon that they want to get rid of is you. Like, listen to John Kerry in a statement. We need to get rid of farming to save the planet. They're trying to say that my wife, girlfriend, my significant other, the most important person in my life, garden back there, is causing damage. Bull. Making fake meat, in my mind, because you got to transport a lot of stuff to the factory that actually builds the food, right? The seed oils, whatever else that they're adding to try and make fake meat. And then the studies come out that it's not that good for you, fake meat, right? It may taste like meat, but it's fake. Like, why are they trying to take plants and trying to make it taste like meat when, a little sunshine, a four-legged animal eating grass naturally? Yeah, he farts methane, but is it really that horrible? Like everything that you hear about, like it don't make sense, right? It don't. All these rich people that are saying that we need to cut back, well, they can cut back first. If they're so worried about the sea level rising, why are they building right along the shorefront? And get this, I believe it's Barack Obama, his estate in Hawaii got a special exemption to build walls in front of his place because they don't want to, ruin the coastline. But they gave him an exemption, just like in Martha's Vineyard, they gave him an exemption for having extra propane uh, backup. Really? Do you really think the government is for you? Look in Canada, Ralph Goodale. Ralph Goodale cut in line to get back surgery, while others have to now wait a little longer. But Ralph, being a member of the government and few phone calls, he gets ahead of the line. I have been waiting for an MRI for over a year, folks, and I live in British Columbia. And David Eppie, you suck for that. Your fault. Fix it. Hire back the unvaxxed in British Columbia. End the bullshit. And giving fentanyl to kids. You are sick and demented. You are in a death cult. A death cult, folks. And David, resign. Why are you trying to take away cell phones from kids in school? I can only think that you're trying to limit the exposure of the soji. Soji, what is that? Sexual orientation, gender identity. Why are we confusing kids? I grew up in the 80s, folks, And I did not see the craziness back then. Yes, there were some kids that were gay, scared, and everything else of trying to be exposed. Different life back then, but it's not as chaotic and evil as the world is today. And I say evil to trying to convince people that they're the wrong gender and that they should chop off parts just so that they can fit in. That is a scary situation. I am not knocking anybody that's done it. That's like I said, I go back to Buck Angels and Julie Mulatto, but it is a lifelong decision. It is a thing that you should think carefully of. That's all I can say. Think carefully on. Yes, please. It is a lifelong decision. And once you cut your nuts, you're no longer going to be able to make children. Once you take out your uterus, you are no longer going to be able to carry your child. Is that what you really want? That's all I'm saying is slow the roll. Honestly, think for yourself, right? That's all I can say. Um, yeah, we used to laugh at Klinger back in the day, right? Because he was trying to get out of the military. But now we have people in the military getting the surgeries for free. Wow. Right? Even our RCMP is offering money for RCMP officers to switch. The government, our tax-paying dollars. That's a lot of money. It is not that widespread of a problem. I mean, what it is a social engineered construct of people influencing you to think this way. I'm not saying all of them, but that's the way I see it. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be mean. I would like answers. I would like a gain of knowledge, a comprehension of the understanding of what is going on. That's all I'm asking. That's why I research. That's why I try and look into stuff. I am not an expert on anything. I'm a dude in a house coat. Please research yourself. That's all I could say. I'm asking you to open your eyes, expand your mind, to go on and continue doing what you do. Yes, folks, you need to wake up, and I'll say it again. We need to fix our government. If you're like me, take a few minutes and write them. It does do some good. Now, if there are 40 million people in Canada, I am going to say, let's say 25 million, just as a word, are over 18. Write them. Write, write all of them. If you are under 18, yes, do it too, folks. You still have a voice, and you can be heard. I am Hookley, whatever his name is, on X, a young man going around doing interviews. Shout out to him. You're doing an awesome job. Yes, I like it, and I wish more would come out and do it, even those on the opposite side of the spectrum. If you are decent and you are explaining your side well, great. But if you are screaming at me, no, that's including the right, folks. If you want to scream at me, no. I will have a conversation with you. I am not an expert. I am not trying to convince you. I am just trying to ask you to research. Yes, research. That's all you need to do. We call it reading, folks. It is simple as that. And if you don't understand something, what can you do? Google, YouTube, and search and look for the subject and find somebody you're comfortable with that makes it understandable, right? I did that early on with COVID. I heard about the spike protein. I heard there might be heart issues. I found a heart surgeon from a nuclear university thing, Boston nuclear medicine, whatever, could have been Chicago. Smart fellow. He said he was worried about the spike protein being similar to the heart valve spike protein and the issues it may cause. I am so glad I saw that video. It made me think about it because I know one thing about my heart because of biology and it being in school is that the muscles in your heart, once they're injured, do not come back. Unlike the muscles here, the jaw that keeps yacking like I do, Gabio here. Yes, it is not good. And don't believe them when they say it's just mild. There's nothing mild about myocarditis and all the other itises that go with the heart. Look at all the athletes that are going down. Look at the young man named Sean Hartman, who went down. Yes, folks, I know I am yakking a long time. I'm just continuing and I am speaking. Why? Because this is a practice. This is YouTube Live. I did not realize I could just do that. you know, for everything that I do, read and research, there's so much more that I need to do to get better and smarter. Just like I'm learning today on, oh, wow, I can just go right to YouTube and go to live. I don't need Clip Champ. And the video quality, shout out to YouTube. I see no lag. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, YouTube. I know I'm saying YouTube a lot, but I'm just trying to get on YouTube's good side while I start. Oh, well, folks, that's 55 minutes that I continue to yak. I know, I think I might just try and end this here because I'm attempting live for the very first time. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the hair down. I hope you liked my speaking. I hope I did okay. And I hope you do get out there and take a little bit of that timidness, be brave, speak out because the time is now. Essence is now. We don't have much time left. If the world is conspiring against us, if you don't see it, evidence is out there. Why is there so much people in lockstep from Europe to North America, from Canada, Biden, Trudeau, Macron, all these things? Remember Build Back Better, folks? How many people talk to Build Back Better at the same time? What a wonderful slogan that was, right? Now, skip all that and fight for what you believe in. Write your MP, write your MLA, go to their office. If you want to make a protest, go to the proper places and protest. Now, I understand that Trudeau is in hiding again for 5 days, saying he's working from home. I think we all need to go to his house and protest. I think that would be appropriate because he failed in the Emergency Use Act. I don't understand our country at the moment. We should be up in arms. We should be pitchfork and torches asking him to leave. Yes, leave. I know I said I'm trying to end this video, but I love talking. I am going to end this video here soon. All I have to say is that a shout out to the decent people of the world. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, doing your goodness. Shout out to the people like Cat Canada, the Pleb, Viva La Fry, Clyde, do something. These are people that have inspired me to try and do this as well. I hope you all the best. I hope you have positive vibes. Yes, let's spread out the positive vibes. If we raise our vibrations, folks, and do the positive thing and be active about it, we can make change. Yes, positive vibes, folks. Prayers, whatever you do. But let's try and move forward in a positive fashion. And let's get rid of the fascists that are in office, the people that are dictating to us what to do. They don't tell us what to do, folks. It's the other way around. It is us that tells them what to do. Remember that. We, the people, are the arbiters of our own life. And if we have an organization that is not being coherent or listening to us, then we must step up and tell them no more, right? Step up now. Things are changing. They're changing the election stuff. Remember, they want to expand voting to 3 days. There's going to be a lot of extra shenanigans in that extra 3 days. It should be one day, paper ballots, all done in a day. That's the way it should be. And it used to Again, people, positive vibes. Let's get all out there. I am not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. There are plenty of people that talk this way and attract an audience by being angry and always being forceful. Well, I don't want to be that way. I want positive change, positive vibes, and I want us to move forward in positive goodness and light. Yes, folks, in goodness and light. I know I'm speaking kind of like in tongues, but you know what? I don't want to try and be pro whatever, like religious one side and not the other. I want everybody, whoever you worship or do whatever, we all have energy within ourselves that vibrates. And I am saying, let's make it positive, right? Let's make it positive. I am Justice truth. Yes, I hope you enjoyed the show that I have done. I spoke for an hour without actually, worrying about anything, and I'm kind of happy with what I did. If the comment sections are available, please say it was good. Please give me some criticism. If you want to slander me, call me all these names, go ahead. Get it off your chest. It doesn't matter. I am just a dude in a house coat. I am no expert on anything. Please research. These are my opinions and things that I've noticed. And yes, you need to look for yourselves and not just a 15-second soundbite from the news people telling you what to think, right? Do some research. I honestly think that the people on the internet that are trying to do their own thing, like myself, are much more better than mainstream media at the moment because there is something that we have that mainstream media does not. That is a honesty of soul. Yes, folks, honesty of soul. I like Clyde. He has a great show. I like Pleb. He has a great show. I have not seen anything new from Cat Canada yet. Whether she's making anything or not, it don't matter. The fact that she went ahead and attempted to do this and has done it has inspired me to do what she has done, just like all the other names that I have said. Well, I really am going to try and end this now because I love talking. I am Gabio. Yes, I would like to give a shout out again to my lovely partner in crime who made me all these little things that are here, like this mushroom light. I think it's awesome. Look at that, folks. A little bit of creativity. Yes, everything else, the painting of the sign, the cloud that's behind me. I know what's behind me. Please ignore the text of Bull Hansen, Mr. Doom, YouTube. Bjorn Bull Hansen is a guy I think you should look up. You may like him. He is from Norway. English is not his first language, but he makes you think. And I'm going to pull this picture down so that you can have a better look at it. That's right, folks. Dude in a house coat. Gotta love it. And I hope you enjoy what I have to say. And people, be kind to one another. And if you see injustice, be brave. Step up. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed it.